What's up? It's Commander Jessie. You're listening to Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast.
All right, and welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, coming at you with another phenomenal interview. And today I have the true honor and privilege of having the one, the only, the man known as Commander Jessie Espinoza on Hawaii's #1 podcast. Now, Jessie Espinoza is hailed as one of the strongest Dalsim players in both Southern California and America at large. He's got multiple victories at Wednesday night fights and SoCal's premier weekly tournaments. Jessie's Dalsim is considered one of the most amazing in the nation. And he's also won ELEAGUE The Challenger and is now set to prove his strength on the main stage and is officially now a new ambassador for Hori products. So with that being said, if you guys are ready to do it, I'm ready to do it. Let's go ahead and welcome Jessie onto the show. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. I'm your host, Mekel Kasanova, and today I have with me the honor and privilege of having the one, the only Commander Jessie. Commander Jessie, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Commander Jessie, and I'm excited to be a part of the podcast and feel fortunate to be here and answer some questions and get down with y'all.
Awesome, man. How you doing, man? How's your day been? I know you've been busy, been competing at various tournaments, man. Like, tell us how you feeling today.
I feel good. Today just, had myself a nice little luncheon, just got back home. I was excited to do this podcast with you. Last week I had this Goodwill charity event that was going on. Really exciting stuff. They had all these players flown out from all over the world. We had the best players. We had Gachikun there, Capcom Cup champion, with Mena RD there, another Capcom Cup champion. We had Punk in the Invitational, who's the best player in the world right now, in my opinion. A lot of strong players, so I was fortunate to be a part of that. And we also got to do all these other fun side events, like a fashion show, and we got to Street Fighter charades and all these cool little exhibitions on the side to help raise money for a good cause. So it was really exciting.
Dope, man. That's dope, bro. And go ahead, man, drop your social media links, any type of upcoming projects that you're going to be in or tournaments you're going to be at, and plug your various outlets. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always find me on Twitter on at CMDRJESSE, and that's also my Twitch too. So if you guys want to watch my stream, I do a lot of replay analysis on my matches when I go to tournaments, and I also do a lot of ranked matches, and sometimes I'll just play sets with subscribers or followers. Just a good place for all of us to come together and hang out. So my Twitch is the same as my Twitter. It's CMDRJESSE. So you can follow me on both to kind of get all the action going there. And I have Instagram. If you want to follow me there too, it's the same exact thing. CMDRJESSE all the way through.
Yeah, I love the consistency straight across the board.
I try. I know if I change one thing, I got to change them all. So I'm like, wait a minute. Let's just stick to a routine here, So luckily I got them all the same.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And I'll go ahead and leave links to everything down in the description below the podcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to it on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, or even watching it on Twitch, Facebook, or Mixer, links will be down in the description, man. So with that being said, man, you mind giving a background on yourself, how you got into fighting games and gaming in general and your journey to where you are now?
Yeah. So I've always grew up playing video games, not necessarily fighting games, but just video games in general. I was an only child, so my mom, got me a system when I was young. She got me a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and I was just constantly on that. And the friends that I'd have would just come over and we'd play all day and all night. They wouldn't want to go home, just us grinding it out, playing Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, or Battletoads or whatever it may be.
Man,
so I'm always
Battletoads.
Yeah. At least I think I'm old school, So I play some classic games, and I've been playing since I was a kid, and then not until way later, 2009, Um, Street Fighter 4 came out, and I was a huge fan. It reminded me a lot of when I used to play Street Fighter 2 when I was a kid, and I saw the artwork. I really liked it, and I really liked Chun-Li. I thought she was super cool. I really liked her design and everything, so I started playing her a lot. And my cousin, who was into gaming as well, took me to this place called Family Fun Arcade that was like a historical, monumental arcade for the scene. I didn't know it at the time, but like it was just in my hood. It was like literally like 10, 15 minutes from my house in the valley, in the San Fernando Valley. And he took me there because he was really into Marvel vs. Capcom. And I noticed that they had a cabinet for Street Fighter 4, and I was like, "Oh, that's the game I play." You know, I do pretty well online. I'm like a C or B rank. I do pretty well. I don't really lose that much, so I'll put up a 75 cents, whatever it is, to play. And I got destroyed. I got rocked, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't lose when I play online, but I'm getting rocked by this guy here, just eating corn nuts, drinking a soda, like, you know, playing with his hair, not even trying. Like, he's just not even trying. He's just literally destroying me. And I was like, dude, what? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And it was like making me more aggravated that this guy was playing me so casually and destroying me. So I kept going back to the change machine, kept going back, kept getting changed, kept playing. And he was like, you know what? This kid right here is persistent. Like, he just doesn't want to give up, you know? And I'm very stubborn. So I'm just like, you know what? No, like, I'm going to keep going. I got to get a win eventually. And I just was getting destroyed. He finally came up to me. He gave me some really good advice. And it helped me look at the game differently. And I liked that it expanded my mind. Like, it just made me look at things differently. So I kind of got hooked on that feeling, like, wow, you know, I really want to get good at this. I want to become a better player at this, but I need to approach things differently. So I started going back there to compete, and then I started making friends with everybody at the arcade.
Okay, cool. Have you, like, as far as, like, being a stick player, have you always been, like, a stick player or more of a pad player, or do you float, like, back and forth between the two?
Well, I started on the pad because originally, you know, I didn't play any fighting games, so I just had Street Fighter 4 and I was playing on my controller. So when I went to the arcade, I was kind of like a little frustrated. Like, I had played on the, you know, bat top and the stick before, like when I played Metal Slug or something, or like Super Sidekicks when I'm at the laundromat with my mom, you know, and I'm super young, like, all right, back in the day, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I'm familiar, but I just don't know how to play a fighting game on that, so I was struggling a little bit. So I went and bought like a joystick. And it took me about, like, I want to say 3 solid months of playing on it to finally get used to playing on an arcade stick.
Oh, wow.
And, like, switching from a controller to a joystick. It took me a while. Like, it almost got to the point where I felt I had made a bad decision in buying a stick in the first place. Like, I was just not able to do the things that I'm comfortable doing because I was so used to playing on a controller. So I almost returned it. I was this close to returning my Mad Catz TE. I was this close. And then, like finally, yeah, like about 3 months in, it just all clicked. Like, all the work, finally, as it started, everything made sense. And I was like, oh my God, I can't go back to a controller now. When I started going to the arcade and playing, there was no controller port that they have now for the new Street Fighter 5 cabinets in Japan. They got those, like, portable little, that was not a thing. Like, you either played on the buttons and the stick, or you didn't play on the arcade at all. So finally, I learned how to play on the stick, and then that was it. I never looked back.
Dude, I tell people that all the time. Like, when you get to a point where you've transitioned from pad to stick, it's like it's so hard to go back. Like, I've been playing on pad, well, yeah, primarily pad growing up, and in the arcades when I go with my brothers, like back in the 90s. But now, the last couple of years, I've been playing stick, and every time I go over to a friend's and they're playing like Street Fighter or King of Fighters, and they hand me a pad, I'm like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
It's like your brain gets rewired when you're playing with sticks, so it's like you're like, oh, what do I do with this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so far back that you don't recall playing on it, you know. And and nowadays, you know, kids like people coming into the scene. They didn't grow up with arcades. Arcades are becoming a thing of the past. So to them, they get the game, they have a controller, and they just play like that, and they're used to it. But for someone who grew up in an arcade, Family Fun Arcade is such a monumental place, I guess you want to call it, in my fighting game career, that I spent so much time playing there that I can't go back. It's just a thing. And I think it's more fun to hit buttons on a joystick and carry it around. Yeah, it's a little heavier, and maybe it's a little less convenient. but there's something about being able to like, control a joystick and hit buttons. It just gives you that, like, it adds more fun to the experience.
Exactly, man. And you touched on a point that that we're seeing in this generation coming up, that's coming into the scene, where like they didn't grow up with the arcades. Like, what do you think would be like their experience versus, like, because I think you and I are around the same age. Like, we got to grow up seeing how the arcades were like that's the spot you're going to they
Absolutely.
just faded off. I want to say like early 2000s, it started to fade off and die in America. Like, what do you think the experience would be like for the generation coming up now?
It's just so much different because now you have like local get-togethers, or you have weekly tournaments that happen, like Wednesday night fights, or game realms, like little like weekly sessions where people will come together and play, which is their equivalent to an arcade experience, I guess, because you're still getting the social aspect of it, where you go to an event, you play the game that you want to play, and you meet others who like the same thing that you do, and you guys all learn from each other. But there's just something about going to an arcade, like walking in, hearing all the sounds of all the buttons being hit and all the different games and all the music going on in the background, and going to the change machine, the salty walks to the change machine, and putting your order up, waiting. A lot of times there was only one setup in there. You only had the one setup and a crowd around it, so you had that pressure of having to win and stay on. And nowadays it's just like, well, I got next. Well, if this setup's taken, I'll just go to another setup and I'll play somebody else, because they got 4 or 5 or 6 different setups to play on. So you got a bunch of casuals going on. So in one way, it's good because you're constantly playing different people. You're not really waiting around as much, but I just miss the nostalgia of it. I mean, growing up in it, it's like you don't know what you lost until you had it. So a lot of times people, they didn't grow up in an arcade, so they don't know what they're missing out on.
Man, it's so true, man. Like, it's something though too, because like in Japan, the arcade scene never went away, but here, like sometimes when I sit and think about it, I'm like, what caused it to die off here? Is it just because the consoles got to the point where they were on par with arcade machines? Is it because they got better? Is it because of online gaming? It's just weird. Like Japan and Korea and China, like it just never went away. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just maybe a different part of the culture.
Yeah.
I mean, here there's also a convenience aspect too. Like even in like Southern California, where I'm from, like even though we're all kind of based in the same area of the state, it's so vast that it's hard to get together. So a lot of times it's just easy to just get home, go online, and then hit somebody up and just play online and play some lounge matches, than it is to drive out to your local, which is maybe like an hour away, 30 minutes away,
Bruh,
and play with others. I mean, when I go to Wednesday night fights, if there's traffic, sometimes it's like 2 hours. It takes 2 hours one way.
What?
So that ends up being 4 hours total. Yeah, it'll be 2 hours one way with traffic. So it's really rough. So you really got to make a commitment in order to go do those things, But it's just about what you want out of it. Like I think the social aspect of fighting games is really special. Like I've made friends through going to the arcade and playing fighting games that I still have to this day. It's been 9 years. So to say that I've had a friendship for that long with someone that I met through a passion of mine is pretty cool. And that's what a lot of people just miss out on or don't understand.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Like at this point, I can't even complain about going to the logos out here, because sometimes, like the longest it takes to get to our scene out here, like we have every Thursday we have Thursday night fights at OC Bar and Grill out here, hosted by Video Gamers Hawaii, and for me it's like a 20-30 minute drive if there's no traffic. But you're talking about 2 hours tops, 4 hours total, dude. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's far. Nothing in SoCal is that close. It's just like there's so much traffic, and then you gotta have a car. You gotta be able to drive everywhere. So kind of hard.
Man, my goodness, man. It's so speaking since you're a professional fighting game player at this point, what has been that experience like? Getting involved with the scene and working with different companies, going to tournaments. Like, can you walk me and the audience through like the experience?
Honestly, I didn't know where this was gonna go or how this was gonna turn out or anything like that. Really, when I first traveled to an event that wasn't within driving distance, like Evo, like I'd always gone to Evo since 2010. It's like a 4 or 5 hour drive, and me and my friends would just like make it happen, or NCR for that matter, which was like a 7-hour drive. But we'd make a weekend of it, drive up. The first time was Brooklyn Beatdown in 2016 when I won like to qualify for a paid trip to go to New York. And that was something special, that's literally where everything kind of catapulted and started taking off. Because one, I'd never been on a plane before that had happened. I'd never been on an airplane. I'd never traveled that far from home. So it was all foreign to me. And two, I didn't expect that kind of success at the event for my first time, like going anywhere like that. So everything just kind of moved quickly. Like as soon as that happened, I started content stuff, different companies. I was invited on the ESL's King of the Hill, and I was on their very first episode with Chris Marion and LPN. So it was just really, really like exciting. And I just decided, you know what? I love what I do. I love to play. I love to compete. I've always been competitive. When I wasn't playing video games when I was growing up, I was playing basketball. I was really into that. So I'm just a very competitive person. And being able to do this and commit myself to it and have it all work out is just, I just feel very blessed. So ever since then, I just started to roll with it, and I would try to attend more tournaments and try to, as of this year, I've been trying to stream a little bit more, try to create more content. I feel very lucky to be in the position I'm in, and I know that it's a very unique thing, gaming and being able to travel and compete. So I don't take it for granted. If I ever get like any kind of opportunity, like this invitational that just came up, I just try to make the most of it. Really embrace it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a new field, especially for us, like coming up from, like I said, I think we're around the same age. Like for us, our generation to see that is just astronomical. Like, hey, we can, because like I would say like most people probably from when we were growing up would be like, hey, you're playing video games, there's no future in that. Now you're out here, a professional player, making money, making a career out of it, and it's like, hey, in your face.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty insane, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. There's opportunities coming from all kinds. But now they have Street Fighter League, where they got Capcom, the actual company itself, putting up a league to, help support their players, create hype, and give out crazy cash prizes. There's all kinds of things happening from all over. Other companies are getting, investing into what we're doing, and it's really exciting for the new generation of players coming in, seeing all of this and realizing that you can do something with it. It's really cool.
Definitely, man. And I know you say, you play basketball as well. Like, what are some of your other interests, like, outside of, FGC, like sports or music? Or what are some of the things you're into that the audience may not even know about? Like, go ahead, go all in with it.
Yeah. I mean, I used to, like, growing up, I used to play a lot of basketball. Like, my mom, because she was like, she saw I would watch a lot of basketball on TV and stuff. So she's like, I think he likes sports. So when I was little, my mom put me in soccer. And I hated soccer. I was like, I tried it, and I was just like up and down. I barely get any touches, and I'm just like, you know what? This is not. I'm not a fan. This isn't it. This ain't it. And then, so finally, she was like, he doesn't like soccer, so we gotta find something else for him. So, put me in basketball, and I just loved it. I was like, okay, this is it. I love this. Like, I get to shoot the basketball, I can grab rebounds, play defense. I can do all kinds of things, and like, I feel like there's only 5 people on the court, so you're constantly like, working with your teammates. And I played basketball for a few years, like growing up. And then in high school, I decided to try something different. I ended up on my high school ball. So that was really interesting. Yeah. The funny thing about that is that I didn't know how to golf.
Yeah.
They are just looking for people to join the golf team. They said, anybody who wants to join, you don't have to necessarily be good or even know how to golf. We'll teach you how to golf. And I was like, you'll teach me how to golf? You're like, I heard this over the PA. And I was like, if they'll teach me how to golf, shit, I'll play golf. I'll play golf. And it also means I get out of school every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Where do I sign? So I went to Coach Bennett, right? I remember Coach Bennett. I went to his room, like, after school. I was there with, like, maybe, like, 8 other kids.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we'll be on the golf team. And he was like taking in stragglers, basically. He was like, we got a lot of work to do. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So, and he taught us all how to play golf. And we were just that team. Like, all the other schools had like, they were like private schools, you know, they had like their own golf courses, like their home field advantage were these nice private country clubs. And we were just on this like public golf course across the street that was just like super raggedy. Like, we were like, none of us had matching uniforms either. Like, he just told us to go to Target and buy a polo. So we just all had like different colored polo shirts, and we are just like imagine we were like the big green of the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were just like the joke team. Like, they're like all the private schools just look down on us, and we were just like having like we weren't obviously we knew we weren't that great, but we had a lot of fun. And because of Coach Bennett and because of the golf team, I learned how to swing a golf club, and now I can like go onto a legit, not mini golf, like actual golf. I can go on and like get it on the fairway, and I can do a chip shot on the green, and I can like actually swing a golf ball. So it feels good to be able to like go to the driving range and get a bucket of golf ball, and be able to hit it far and straight.
Dude, like my high school and my college did the same thing to me. They were like, "Hey, we need people for the golf team." I'm like, I remember in high school, I was like, I don't know how to. I watched Tiger Woods play. I mean, does that count? They're like, that counts. Come on, here's the bag. I'm like, yo, what's the iron, a club? What does that do? Why is that one shape? They're like, just use this one. We're gonna tell you which one to use. I was like, okay, all right. The same thing, man. I'm like, I get out of school early. Fine, I'm for it.
Yeah, exactly. I was all about it, and like I remember on Wednesdays it'd be like 12 o'clock, and I'd be in like my history teacher's class or whatever, and I'm like, Mr. Albert, I gotta go, man. Like it's 12 o'clock. He's like, why do you gotta go for? I'm like, I'm on the golf team. What do you mean? I gotta represent the school. He was like, all right, get out of here. And I was like, all right, later. You know what I mean? I'm out. You know. Like an hour later, I'm in some like private country club, like with my friend, just cracking jokes. We're just like, I can't believe this is life. Like we're just like, and you know what I mean? Like we're gonna bomb this. We're definitely gonna lose, but we're gonna lose in style. You know what I mean? There's just like, just good times, like really good times.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Oh man, like what are some other things you're into, man? Other things you like to do?
Yeah. So you know, I did a little bit of golfing and a little bit of basketball when I can, but lately I've been trying to get back into the gym. I've been working out a lot more. I figured like I kind of like let myself go a little bit, put on a little bit, a few extra pounds. So I'm just trying to watch myself. It's getting a little warmer over here. You know, it's about that time. Like I live in the valley where it's like always like 10 degrees hotter than it is in downtown LA. They're kind of by the beach, you know, they're a little bit over the hill.
Yeah.
So they're like a little bit cooler. So it's 10 degrees hotter where I'm from. So I know I don't want to be uncomfortable when it starts to get warm. I've been trying to hit the gym a little bit more, watching what I eat. And then also I really like photography. So I used to do a lot of like photography with my phone, just like basic iPhone photography. Like I would go to like different spots in SoCal, and I would try to take pictures, and I would edit them and put filters and like do all that kind of fun stuff and put it on my Instagram. But I haven't done that in a while. But then I went and bought like a DSLR. I have like a Canon camera. So I just recently started picking that up again. Like whenever I can, I just go out and like do a shoot or something. Just mostly landscape photography. Like if I see a spot and I want to make it look a certain way, I'll go and take a picture, bring it back home, edit it, and then I'll like post it on Instagram or something like that. But on my IG, like if you go back far enough, you'll start to see like all the stuff that I was doing when I was out there with my phone, just kind of, you know, certain sites. Like I went to there's like this really famous place where a lot of photographers go. It's called LACMA, the Los Angeles County Museum of Arts, and they have these lamps there that are kind of world famous. Like they're just like a block, like a square, a giant square with all these light poles. And a lot of photographers take pictures there, so I went there to take photos with my phone. But I want to go back there with my digital camera and see what I can do. So that's something I really enjoy. I follow a bunch of photographer accounts on IG. I think that's like me expressing my creative side, you know? Like I was never much of a drawer. Like if they ask me to draw something, it's like a stick figure, you know? I cannot put to paper what my mind has envisions, you know? So it's not how I can express myself. For me, I think the easiest way to do that and to be creative is through taking photos. I feel like that's like such a cool way to like show the world the way that you look at things, because everyone sees things differently. So for everyone to kind of interpret some sort of vision that you have and to show it to everybody else, I think is something beautiful. So I try to do that with my camera.
Awesome, man. Awesome. You gotta teach me how to use the camera because I just got this one. This Panasonic sent me this Lumix camera for review. I'm over here
nice.
like, I told them, I said, yo, I don't know how to review a camera. Give me a phone, give me a game console. Like, hey, I can review that. They're like, hey, we got this. What is this, the G7 or something like that? They're like, we need you to review it. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know anything about lenses. You gotta teach me,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll do what I can for sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Have you already gone out and shot with it, or?
No, well, the most I've done was like 2 pictures here and there, or a couple pictures here and there when I went hiking up on Cocoa Head. But other than that, man, I haven't even. I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, I don't know how to get the perfect exposure, the perfect. Like, I know they were saying like there are a couple different lenses I can use with this, but I'm like, I don't know much about it. I'm trying to teach myself it because I'm like, this is a good skill to have. I mean, especially doing content creation and whatnot, but I'm like, I want my shit to look fancy. I just don't know how to make it work.
Yeah, definitely. It like a lot of my friends that are into it now, like
Yeah.
I'm still trying to pick it back up, and like I was just like that guy with my phone for a long time because I just was like, I don't have a digital camera, so I did what I could with what I had. Some of my friends now are super into it, so I go out with them and they teach me all the time. Like we went to Santa Monica, Santa Monica here, and we were doing like experimenting with catching light stream. So if cars are driving by, you're able to catch long exposure shots, like light trails. So that was really cool. And then we'll do like Ferris wheel photos. It's pretty awesome. But it definitely takes time. Like photography is one of those things that I think is a lot of trial and error. You take a bunch of photos and you play around with the settings and you try out the different ISO settings and the aperture, the f-stop, and you try to look for that perfect balance where you can find like, oh, okay, in this kind of lighting, you don't need this much. You don't need to open and close the shutter so much because you want to let less lighting or more lighting. As you tamper with the settings, you start to realize like what looks good situation.
Oh, okay, all right.
It just takes time, though. You just need to like tamper with it.
I'm over here like, yeah, I need to follow more photographers on like on Instagram and whatnot. I have a friend. I have a couple friends that are photographers. Like one of my friends who's actually in the FGC, Chris Bond. Like
oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Chris Bond has some good stuff.
Yeah. I'd be hitting him up. I'm like, yo, what do I do with this camera? He's like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. I'm like, which setting? Is it this dial or that? He's like, man, they should have said that to me instead of you. I'm like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, Chris Bond, he was actually one of the few people when I was saying that I want to take photos, he reached out to me. Hey, if you have any questions, you let me know, and I'll try my best to help you out. So, shout out to Chris Bond for sure. Chris Bond, John Lapari, who I worked with on ELEAGUE, is another photographer. He helped me out big time too. He like step by step. He's like, here are some photos. This is an example of what I'm talking about, and this lighting, and this is what this means, and this is what that means. So he went above and beyond. Toby Moto is another person that helped me out a lot. They actually recommended this lens. It's really good for like portrait shots. It's called like a Nifty 50 lens. It's like a 50 millimeter 1.8 aperture lens. I guess it's really popular. But it's just, you can just go to the store and ask for a Nifty 50. But it's really solid lens that kind of blurs out the background but focuses on your subject. So if you're trying to take portrait shots of somebody, they come out super, super clean. So I've been using that whenever I'm like taking pictures of someone. They want me to take a picture of them or a portrait shot.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I need to go look into that. Shit, Best Buy might have that. I might have to go after this podcast.
I got Best Buy. Yeah, Best Buy has it because I got it there.
Oh man, I know you said you were you're getting back into the gym, trying to get back in shape and lift and whatnot. I'm doing the same thing. Do you feel like it's harder in your 30s than it was in your 20s?
Oh yeah, I think it's harder for sure.
I wonder, is it just me?
I think because when you're younger, I feel like when you're younger, you just have so much energy, and you don't really get that exhaustion or even like get that sore. Really, I just feel like you just keep going. Like even when you're in your 20s and you're going out and you're out with friends and whatnot, like the next day you're like, let's do it again. You're just so that energy, just I don't know where it comes from. It just doesn't stop, and you're like raging all the time. You're like, there's no holding you back. When I was younger, my friends and I would go out like 5 days a week. Like,
Right?
just be like, you know what I mean? Like hitting it really hard. Like there's something to do tonight. There's something to do tomorrow night. There's something to do. Let's just keep going. But yeah, as like now, you know, my early 30s, it's just like, wow, like okay, like I can't, you know, maybe a nice night in sounds pretty good, you know, like I'll get a nice meal, maybe watch a movie, watch the show real quick, and then that's a good night, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to force it, like. Oh, like sometimes I'll just be like, I can't make it. You know, there's times where like I'm like, you know, I already went out last night. I'm a little tired. It's definitely different. It's not, the energy isn't quite the same, but it's still doable. I don't think it's ever too late. Like if you're a little bit older, you can still make it happen. I just think you gotta be a little more selective about your decisions. That's all. When you're 20, you can do whatever.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like in my 20s, like my metabolism, my energy, everything was up. Like I used to be a club promoter for one of the clubs out here, Zanzibar, and I used to be out Monday through Saturday, like every day. I'd be promoting for the first 2-3 hours in the club, getting turned, drinking, wilding out, and then that was like from 20 to 29, and then I hit 30. I was like. I think I went out on like a Friday, and then the next day I had to go into work at where I work at the hospital. I had to go in early in the morning, 8 o'clock, and I'm like, fuck, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. What am I doing? Yeah. It's too much. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Too hard. I think back to when I was going out it's like, if I were to do that now, I don't know. It would take me all day to recover. Like, I would probably have a headache for the entire day.
Yeah.
And it's like, do I want to do that? No, I don't think I want to put myself. So, yeah, it's crazy.
What kind of workouts do you do mostly? You do mostly cardio, weights, or like a mix?
So for a while, I was just kind of like doing mostly weights. I would do each different region, like different body days. Like one day I would just do like my back, and I'd focus on like my back and my triceps, and the next day I would do like legs, and the day after that I would chest and a little bit of like arms, like biceps and stuff, and then I'll commit another day to just shoulders and abs, and I'll throw in abs in there in between. But then I just start a little more cardio at the end, because I feel like I'm losing the weight, which is great, and I feel like I'm building that physique that I'm trying to go for, like just like a more slimmer, toned look. But I want my endurance to be better. So I'm like, you know, I got to start adding a little bit more cardio at the end of my workouts, because I feel like I wasn't getting enough. So now I'm doing my weights usually for about like an hour and a half, at the most 2 hours. I don't go anymore, maybe like an hour and a half. And then I'll do like 15-30 minutes of cardio at the end. And usually by then I'll feel pretty good. I got a good sweat and I feel pretty solid. And then just trying to eat properly. I mean, today, my lunch, I'm going to admit, today's lunch was not a healthy lunch. But I like to think that, you know, every now and then you got to live. You got to live a little bit. So that's okay.
All right, we know you're trying to get like The Rock, trying to get all cut and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not Dwayne Johnson or anything. I'm just trying to be me. I don't know about The Rock or, you know, Goldberg or any of that stuff. You know, I'm just trying to be.
No, man,
but it's okay. That's the problem, though. See, that's the problem. I try not to compare. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to be like. It's so easy to be like, oh man, like I really want to get like this. You know, because it's good to set a goal. Like, okay, I want to be like this. Like if I can go for like this kind of physique, like that's kind of what I'm going for. But then it's easy to get discouraged. Like, oh, you know, you're not there yet. But it's just like not until you start to see the results yourself, and you're like, oh shit, it's like this is actually the work I'm putting in is working, and you got to keep going. I try to make sure that I stay on top of it. Sometimes I can get a little bit comfortable. I'll start to see the results, and I'm like, oh, good. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm fine here. It's okay. You know, you can loosen up a little bit, and then that's the danger zone. You know. So, yeah. I gotta remind myself, like, hey, you're slipping. You know, you're slipping a little bit. Don't get carried away now.
Do you go like how many days a week do you go?
Like four. I'll go like, you know, I'll do each day for each dedicated exercise. and then I'll do the 4 days, and then in between I'll go for like a walk with my mom or something. We'll go to the park and we'll go for like a nice, just small, like easy cardio.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because there was a point where I was trying to do, was it the HIIT workouts, and I was trying to do weights, and I was trying to do cardio, and I think I did that for 6 months, dude. The weight melted off, and then I blew out my knee, and then when my knee recovered, I was like, F that, I can't do that again. I tried one day to go back and do like, I think I went to a CrossFit place and I tried to do that, and then I was like, nope, no.
So yeah, I've heard so much about CrossFit, how dangerous that is.
Yeah,
You're moving so fast, and you're like not really doing the proper motion, so you're just kind of like quick, and I feel like that puts a lot of stress on your body. I'm not an expert. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's I have a friend that runs a CrossFit place, and he's like, yeah, you gotta be really controlled. I'm like, I don't think a lot of people are controlled when they're trying to do that. I'm like, especially if they're trying to keep up with that pace, it's insane. Yeah, I did 6 months of that. I mean, it works. I lost it, and then when I blew up my knee, and after that first day trying to come back, and I was just like, I'm done. And I just like coasted. I was like, I'll do 2-3 times a week. And then I just like I don't want to say all the weight came back. A majority of the weight came back. And I'm over here looking at myself like, nah, it's time to, you're getting sloppy.
Yeah. You're like, shit, what has happened? Like, what happened? Like, what, so I think that's just a matter of like getting like, I get comfortable. You just get comfortable with yourself because you feel like you hit a milestone or something. Good. Yeah, it just sneaks upon you. So, but it's okay. Like lately, I've been trying to I watch like YouTube videos, like gals do, because I try to switch it up as often as I can. Because if you start to do the same thing, it gets repetitive. You don't want to do it anymore. So I try to switch it up. But I heard something and it's true. It's just like everybody goes up and down. So don't get too hard on yourself. Like no one really stays the same. Like there's sometimes you go through a moment where it kind of goes back up, and then you just bring it back. So I started going back recently again. Like I feel like I took a long break, but I was kind of getting a little like.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I think it's good for you. I think working out. I think it's good for your mind mostly. Honestly, I love what it does for me. Just it helps me relax. I feel at ease. I think it helps like as far as gaming too. Like just having the right mindset, feeling like that calmness. A lot of times when you're playing, especially in like big moments and big tournaments, super stressed and you're really worried about everything. And when you work out, you just feel really solid and you feel just a little more at ease.
Definitely. So everyone who's listening, watching, Commander Jessie says, go get some gains.
Do something. Go out and sweat. Yeah.
All right, man. Like I know you. One of the recent tournaments you were at was the OC Goodwill. You were at the Street Fighter V tournament, man. Tell us about that. How was that experience?
Oh man, it was incredible. So they had us. They invited all the players from all over the world. It was fan voted in. Fortunately for myself, a lot of people showed so much love and support. They voted me into through donations to the Orange County Goodwill, and they had all these players flown out. We all stayed here in SoCal at the hotel, and we got to check out the facilities, the Goodwill headquarters, and they told us all about where the money goes and do with the money. There's like several different. It's not just like one thing. Like one of them is where they take this money and they apply it to their Goodwill Fitness Center, where they help people with physical disabilities. So there's people out there who got into and they have a hard time getting up on their feet, walking again. They help those people work out and get on the treadmill, help them walk back again. With all this money, they're able to put into like equipments and like trainers specifically for these people's needs. It's pretty amazing stuff. So like I was happy to see that everybody who helped donate to get me invitation, their money to something. I thought that was really neat. They showed us the headquarters, and then we got to do all these fun little side events before the actual invitational. They had chosen me to be a part of the fashion show. where they had like YouTube fashion influencers come in and dress us up in Goodwill clothes to show off and like walk on a catwalk and everything. I was kind of nervous. I was like, I don't know how this will go. I don't know what's gonna help me. I mean, I don't know what it's gonna be like, but I came in and I was like, oh, what am I like? Let's just give it. You know, I don't know what. But luckily, it was just something real simple. Like she just put like a blue blazer on me and like a white T-shirt with some stripes on it. And I was like, "Oh, do I get pants with this?" And she's like, "We don't have any jeans, but do you have a pair of jeans?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Just wear yours. That's fine." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll wear my own jeans then and my own shoes." Half the outfit was my own, and the other half good though. That's fine, you know. So I rolled with it. They had us all do this like catwalk thing where we walk out on the stage and bottle off the clothes, and it turned out to be pretty fun. So we all took like a big group picture.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
So we did that, and then we did trades where we acted out Street Fighter moves. So that was pretty fun. And then that was just like on Saturday, and then Sunday the actual invitational was incredible. So like everyone got paid out. Everyone from 12th to first place. It was a 12-man invitational. And on the first round, I actually beat the #1 player in the world, Punk. So I was super excited. Yeah, I was like super excited. But keep in mind that none of us had any idea who we were gonna play on our first round match at all. Like the brackets weren't given to us on Saturday or anything. They were just like, Sunday we're gonna finish up the seating, and then we're gonna tell you guys what the bracket. We were just like, okay, so we can't prepare for our first round opponent, and we went. And I was like, knowing me, I'm probably going to run into a Rashid. You know, it's one of my favorite matchups ever. Definitely not. And there was like 3 Rashids in there.
Yeah.
And they have Punk, and I was like, okay, you know, let's just run it. And he went with and it's Colleen with my Dawson one, and it was just a huge, it was a huge thing. It was the #1 seed, so it felt good to knock him into losers. And I lost my winner semifinal match to Big Bird, all the way from out there, but it felt good. I to be a part of that, and I lost the JB and losers, but I ended up placing 5th overall. So I feel like I had a pretty good showing against some of the best players in the world, like Gotcha, NRD, Phenom, JB.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And dude, you're also on ELEAGUE, the TV show. Dude, how was that? Like, how was that experience, man? That had to have been amazing.
That was incredible. Like, I remember like I didn't think I was actually going to be chosen. I had no idea. I was just like doing these interviews. They were just like, keep it under wraps. I was like, I won't say anything. I'm not gonna. I don't like to count my chickens before they hatch. I just leave at that. Like, if it works out, it works out. If not, that's fine. And then when they were saying, you're officially going to be one of the challengers in the house. Okay, all right, but like, don't say anything until I make the announcement. Announcement came, and all of the social media erupted. When that announcement was made that the show was happening and who was selected, it was just like every social media site was like, "Can we interview you? Can we talk to you? We want to talk to Low Tier God. We want to talk to Sherry. We want to talk to Jeff. We want to talk to everybody. What do you guys think? Oh my God, the first Street Fighter reality show, like, huge deal." So it was super, super exciting. They've flown us out there to Atlanta, and we were just like all super, super excited. We were in the shuttle van for the first time. We like just got together, and they drove us over. And they were like, "Okay, here's the house. Like, capture you guys' reaction. Let's do it." It was all like very natural. Just like, Jessie, you're gonna be the first one to come out of the van, so you're gonna be the first person. When you see the house, we'll just be recording you. We're not expecting we just want your natural expressions. Got out, and I was like, "It's a 3-story mansion. Like, it's huge house." It's like, oh my God, like, this is where we're gonna live for the next week, whatever. And it was just incredible. Yeah.
Dude, that was insane. Like, that, I was watching that too, because Low Tier is actually one of my friends. I was watching and I was talking to him about it. I was like, "Dude, how was it?" He's like, "Yo, it was surreal. It was super surreal."
It really was. We knew when we were in this house like from the first day, we knew when after the filming was done and we were just like talking amongst ourselves, we knew that this was a special moment. Like we were pioneers of something bigger than us, and everyone is going to be watching this, and like maybe for years to come, they might be doing this or in the future with other different players. So it felt like we were doing something really important. We knew that like every kind of wanted to be in this position, and we were just really fun.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. You guys were the pioneers, man. That was amazing. One of the other things like I want to ask you about is like, you know, now that you're like you're a brand ambassador for Hori, like what's the experience like, you know, being an ambassador for like such an amazing company, given that, you know, the relationship is still new with them. How does that feel like?
Honestly, I think it's a huge honor to present. I think they've been around the game for so, and they've done so much for so many people in ways that people don't think of. Like a lot of people who come into fighting games, like we were just talking about earlier, how people start out playing Street Fighter and they play on a pad, but when they get their first fight stick, a lot of times it's a Hori. You know, it's a Hori fight stick is something that's not in a ridiculous price range. It's a good fight stick to have for someone who's just getting into fighting games, test them, see if they enjoy it, and that's why I'm really happy with. Because I feel like they're just one of the first doors that people walk through when they come into. So it's a very, very special brand to work with. So when they, you know, ask me if I would like to be an ambassador, just like having that name attached to mine, and I feel like just by being a part of the brand, I hope that I can help push that message to everyone else, and maybe people starting off playing fighting games for the first time, they'll be able to find a Hori fight stick within their price range and start to pick up fighting games and have the same kind of passion, the same amount of fun and experience.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really special.
Yeah, man, I remember the announcement on Twitter. I saw it and I was like, oh shit, they got Commander Jessie. I was like, whoa.
yeah, that's pretty, and there's no other North American representative too. So I was like, wow, okay, like I'm gonna be the first, you know. I'm like,
pioneer again.
Let's do it, you know. Yeah, sure.
So
yeah, Hori's awesome though. Like I still have like some of my Hori sticks here. I got the, like, you know, the Hori wrap. I got the monitor here. I got the Fighting Edge. I love this. Dude, the Fighting Edge is super clean too. I was like, I never played on Fighting Edge before, but it's super clean. The inputs are nice. The arm space on the stick is really nice. Like,
dude, you have it? Can you show it to us?
Yeah, absolutely. Right here.
Oh man, dude,
so
that's
clean.
That's
like,
clean.
Oh, super clean. Yeah, there's so much space, and the buttons are nice and easy. Like, you don't force the issue. Like, they just have like a nice little light touch to them. That's just really easy to get your inputs out. But I really like the fight stick a lot. It's super clean, super simple. And you know what's like a really good point that I was watching a free Fighting Edge review that Aris did, and Aris said, and this is a good point. Like what happens a lot with like some of the other fight sticks, like Mad Catz one, is that you get like lint and stuff that gets trapped in there.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to clean it out. That never happens in Fighting Edge. That never happens because of the metal.
Yeah.
So you just it's always clean. You never get those stains or those marks or anything like that. So you always have like a surface, which is really.
That's what's up.
But I'm a fan. I'm a fan now. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. I wish I could find, because we don't, for whatever reason, like none of the stores from Best Buy to GameStop, like none of them carry it out here. So I got to order one, and hopefully I can get it to come in next week, because I've got so many Hori sticks. I've got the wrap in.
I like that one.
I've got the Tekken one. I don't know if you can see behind me.
There's a lot going on back there.
Yeah. I've got the two Soul Calibur ones. I've got the Tekken 7 one. I have a bunch of the Kais, one for the Switch, one for the Xbox One for the PS4. And I got my Razor 6 and whatnot. But man, like, I've got so many Hori 6. It's freaking insane.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. I feel like Hori is such a fundamental name. Super humbled to be a part of such a big brand.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you also, like, so like Wednesday night fights, man. Like, how is that? Like, what is that like? I've never actually gotten to go to that, and hopefully, next month, when I go out to E3, I'll be able to experience it. Like, what's it like?
Absolutely. I think for a lot of people when they show up, they always big
Mm-hmm.
because when you're there, I guess on camera, I'm not sure how big it looks, but it's
Mm-hmm.
got 2 floors. Like there's actually 2 floors. Like the first floor is for all the like fighting games, and you got Tekken and Street Fighter, and Dragon Ball, and Skullgirls, and all kinds of Mortal Kombat now. You got all kinds of fighting games going on there. But on the second floor, they have all PCs. So all the Counter Strike players out there,
Mm-hmm.
Dota, League of Legends, they got all that upstairs too. So it's pretty huge. They got like a they sell merchandise. They have a
Whoa.
stage for all the like players play. It's pretty big. It's super. It feels like high level production.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Dope.
And you got all these strong players coming together from all over the place, and it really is. It really is something. It's crazy to think how far level up if I be able to arena every day. Yeah, it's really special. Like it's one of those things that you have to see for yourself. That's kind of how I felt about NLBC. Like the first time I went to NLBC, I was like, "This is it. This is the place that I watch every Wednesday. Like when I'm not Wednesday night fights, before I go to WNF, I'll tune in to watch. So when I got to go there, I felt the way. When you come to Wednesday night fights, you come to E3 and you check it out, you'll see for yourself what that.
Dope, man. Dope. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh man. Winding down to the last couple questions, like one of the things I want to ask you is like what is your take on the influence of esports, and what do you think the professional future is for the FGC?
I mean, I think the good thing that comes with it is just the opportunities that come from different players.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that there are players out there that are able to make a living off of this, and they're able to live their dream, like essentially live their passion, is a beautiful thing. Like I don't see how anybody can want to knock that. Like if there's opportunities coming where people travel, like that's exactly what happened. Like I never been that far from home or been to that city, and then winning Wednesday night fights and winning the season and getting flown out to New York. That's all because I just love to play Street Fighter and I showed up every week and I tried my hardest. So if esports allows people to do things they've never done or put people in positions to succeed, I'm all for it. I'm all for that. So I hope that there's continues to be opportunities for players, for locals, especially the locals. Like there's people that run weeklies every week in like different areas of the world, and you all want them to get their shine. There's so many good players that you want everybody to just go out. So I think I'm all for, more exposure, more outreach, more opportunities for everybody to come up. I think it's a good thing. I mean, I know that there's like this grassroots mentality. We all just want trust. I came from the arcade, like I know what that's like. I know what it's like to like play the guy next to you, people talking shit in the background. You don't want to lose because you gotta wait for like another 30 minutes. You want to play because there's just a big ass group of people.
Yeah,
I know what that's like, and don't get me wrong. I had amazing time. Like I missed being able to go to the arcade, and my friends would just be there. I wouldn't have to call my friends. I would just show up there, and I know one of them would already. Like it was like a headquarters, just a place for us to meet, and then we play all night, whatever, do out and go out that night or something. Like there's just so many memories.
Awesome, man. Last two questions I have here. The last two that I want to ask is, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to, either get into fighting games or looking to get into like the competitive side, like to say they want to get to where you are or even better? Like, what would you recommend to them?
I mean, I think playing online is. I think you want to play online for. The way I treat playing online is just practice. Do not get too worked up about not being where you want to be so quickly. A lot of times people are successful or have gotten to a certain stage, accomplished a lot, is because they put in a lot of hours. Like nothing happens overnight, and I think that's a lot of things. That happens quite often. Like people will come up to me and ask me advice, and I'm just like, you got to understand that you got to put a lot of time into whatever it is that you want. Like, no matter what, there's no shortcut to it. You got to put the time in, but I would say just practice online. Attending your locals is another big thing. If there is a local tournament next to you, I think it's really important to try to attend and communicate with other people. Like, that way you have someone side by side that can kind of understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they may be in the same position as you are, and you guys can practice together. And just by you two practicing together, you guys are learning that specific matchup. Like you're already learning something. You're learning how the other character, how your character can what that character, what your answers to certain problems can be. And the next time you run into someone else who plays that character, you have an answer. So right there, you're already run just with one other person. But going to local, seeing how you can improve. Sometimes you're able to get on stream and you can go back and watch your matches, which you did. I think all these little things are helpful. So just playing online, attending your, asking questions. Another thing is, like, I can see how if you're new to the scene and you go into local, you might be a little worried. You never been to anything like this. Don't trust me. I was the same way. Like when I went to the arcade, I just went with my cousin and he was playing his game. I played my game. Luckily, I had someone reach out to me. Shout out to Kilomax. He's the first person I ever met in the fighting game community. He doesn't play anymore, but I know he watches all the Street Fighter V content. So Kilomax, Saul Sanchez, first person I ever met. He gave me the advice. He was the one that told me, like, to save my meter for Chun-Li and an EX spinning bird kick, and that I can use it as an anti-air instead of trying to use it for EX legs. And like, wow, that was so smart. Like, that to me, that was so smart. I just didn't think of it, Damn, he's so right. Like, and just that made me want to learn more. So any little advice that you have for new players, like, I think this kind of goes on veterans too. Like, not just for new players, but for people who have been in the community for a while. Like, if you are attending your local regularly and you see someone new come in, like, make sure to make them feel welcome. Like do your best to, like, talk to them a little bit. Maybe, like, find out what character they play or how they did in the tournament that day, because any little question or interaction like that goes a long. Like, if I just had someone come up to me and ask, like, the first time, oh, hey, how's it going? My name is Jessie. Like, what, how'd you do in the tournament? Or what is it that you're struggling? Anything, like, that kind of stuff would make me want to go back and be like, you know what, like, maybe that guy can help me out some more, or, like, I can play some sets with that guy next time, So I just think the responsibility goes, like, not only on people just going for the first time and questions, but everyone there willing to help those who are new to it. But if you do those things, if you practice online, go to locals and meet people, make those kind of connections. Not everybody's as fortunate to have a local, unfortunately, but playing online, I think there's also, like, a site that they have a list of different locals within the United States. I don't have it offhand, but I'm sure I can get a hold of somebody. They have, like, a link to a site where you can type it in your city and it'll show you.
Definitely. All right, man. So last question I have is, when we gonna see you out here in Hawaii?
I've never been to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii. I definitely want to go to Hawaii. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, you know what I wonder? I always wonder about the Hawaiian FGC because I feel like I don't hear enough about it, and I wonder how it is out there. The only thing I've ever known about the Hawaiian FGC, and I don't know if I'm wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But does this name ring a bell? Does Dagger G ring a bell?
Dagger G, yeah, it does.
Okay, Dagger G he's from Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Dagger G is the only thing I know. And Mekel Kasanova's podcast. That's it. So I'm totally unfamiliar. So I would definitely love to go to FGC a little bit and just be able to check out, beautiful areas of play.
All right. Well, stay tuned for, like, after the podcast. I'm gonna talk to you because there's some big things happening out here.
Okay.
We're probably gonna get you flown out here for something huge. So.
Okay.
I'm helping pioneer something huge out here with Capcom. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Making moves.
Trying to, man. I'm trying to. All right. I lied. I have one last question for you. You ready?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Did you have fun?
Of course. No, man. I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to get to speak with you, be a part of the podcast. Really excited. Thank you for letting me spew everything, about my life and gaming and my passions, and being able to share that with you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Definitely, man. And tell people again, like one last time, where they can find you and some of the things you got in the works.
Yeah. So like I was saying earlier, you guys can always follow me on Twitter. That's usually where I do my most interaction. You at me. It's CMDRJESSE, and that's the same thing for my Twitch and the same thing for my Instagram. So I'm streaming now on my Twitch channel, CMDRJESSE. And yeah, on my Instagram is usually where I post my photography stuff and like occasional posts about just what's going on in my life. That's the same, CMDRJES. All of them, all three the same. So just make sure to follow me on all those stuff. Say what's up. If you're from the podcast, let me know.
All right, and I'll leave links to everything down in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on any of the podcasting outlets. And you'll be able to catch this podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, coming soon to, God, I forgot, Sirius FM. And we're waiting for the approval to get on Podcast One, so we're trying to be on every outlet. Number one podcast in Hawaii, constantly voted almost 2 years in a row now. Number one podcast, so it's been an honor. And Jessie, we got to have you back on again, man. And I loved having you on. And going into the podcast there, but we're gonna talk some more. Stick around, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Did you enjoy this episode of the Kasanova Podcast? Well, I hope you did. And if you did, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And let us know what we can improve upon, what you liked, what you didn't like, and all that good stuff. And just make sure you always have a good time. That being said, this is your boy Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber. I am signing out, and I'll catch you on the next episode.